सोच में सकारात्मकता लाएं, जीवन को बेहतर बनाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। मनोदर्पण के काउंसलर से परामर्श पाने के लिए डायल करें टोल फ्री नंबर 844-844-0632। नंबर एक बार फिर सुने 844-844-0632।
Hello, Namaskar and a very good evening to all the viewers watching NCERT's live and interactive program. I'm Shivani Jha and you have all connected with us through PM eVidya channel number 6 to channel number 12. And besides this, there are so many different mediums through which you all can connect with us. And even you can participate in our live conversations by raising your comments, your queries or your feedbacks in the live chat box of our official YouTube channels that goes by the name NCERT Official and NCERT PM eVidya class 6 to class 12. Well, let me apprise you all, for this half an hour we have our special program on Sahyog. And as you all know, these Sahyog and Paricharcha sessions are brought to you by MANODARPAN and is a great initiative of Ministry of Education as a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan for providing psychosocial support and mental well-being to all the teachers, parents as well as students. Well, the topic we have chosen for today's Sahyog session is the role of social media in shaping self-image among adolescents. And to delve deeper into this topic, we are also joined by our two experts online. So let's welcome them first. So we are joined by Miss Tanya Tripathy. Ma'am is assistant professor from RIE Bhubaneswar. So ma'am, namaskar and welcome to the session.
Namaskar, pleasure to be here.
Okay, thank you ma'am. Well, we are also joined by Miss Priyanka Anurag. Ma'am is PGT in psychology and practicing counselor from Gangadhar Meher Higher Secondary School, Sambalpur. Ma'am, namaskar and welcome to the session.
Namaskar and good evening everyone.
Okay, thank you so much ma'am. Well, dear all, if you have any query regarding this particular session or if you have any doubt, you can directly reach us via phone or our email ID. We have two phone number which you can note it down. So, first number is 8800440559 and our second number is of Manodarpan counselors. So it is 844-844-0632 and our email ID is sahyog.ncert@cit.nic.in. Well, now let's proceed towards our topic which I earlier told you. The topic is the role of social media in shaping self-image among adolescents. And you know, adolescence is a critical phase of self-discovery and identity formation. Social media has become a significant influence on young people's lives and shaping their self-image and perception of themselves for sure. And yes, most of the time young people spend their time on social media and also share their each and every activity on social media like we can say Instagram, YouTube or Facebook, etc. Well, but it is essential for us to know that how do social media platforms impact their self-esteem, body image and also overall sense of identity. So for the same, my first question will be for Priyanka Anurag ma'am. And ma'am, since our topic is about self-image, let's first understand what exactly self-image means. So ma'am, could you please elaborate this to our viewers? Okay, so Priyanka ma'am, could you please unmute yourself first?
Just a second.
Yes ma'am, now you can speak.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes ma'am, you are audible. Please speak now.
Thank you ma'am for this opportunity.
Yes,
so the topic we are discussing today is the role of social media in shaping the self-image among adolescents. So before we move to knowing about what self-image is, first we need to understand that what self is. Self is a total collection of beliefs that we hold one about oneself and the responses of others. It always embodies the answer to the question, who am I? It is how we perceive our behavior, attitudes, abilities, and unique characteristics. According to a famous psychologist, Carl Rogers, he believed that a self is composed of three distinct parts. The first is ideal self. Ideal self refers to something that a person actually wants to be. And the second is self-esteem. It refers to how a person evaluates oneself, like how much he or she likes themselves, accepts, and values that contributes to our overall self-concept and our well-being. The third is self-image. So, self-image refers to the image of an individual that he or she holds of themselves at a specific time and in a particular situation. It encompasses their both body image as well as mental representations of their state. This image can be conscious, unconscious, as well as realistic and distorted. The self-image of a person includes a lot of things like their appearance, personality, capabilities, self-worth, their behaviors, how they interact with others, and next, self-image can be positive as well as negative. It doesn't mean that a positive self-image is very well accepted. Yes, it is. But if a person has a negative self-image, then necessary steps should be taken to help the person for recovering it. So, a person having a positive self-image is very confident. It always makes them get a sense of proud, and they feel accepted everywhere. But a person having a negative self-image is always doubtful of themselves. They're not even sure about their capabilities and any ideas that they give. Will it be accepted or not?
Okay, thank you so much, Priyanka ma'am. Well, you have shared many important points about self-image with our viewers, and especially our viewers can work more to make their self-image more better. Well, so my next question will be for Tanya Tripathy ma'am. And ma'am, when we talk about the negative impacts on self-image caused by social media, so what are those, ma'am? So ma'am, could you please elaborate?
Yeah, sure. So
Okay.
now the social media, we know that it is highly trending and especially among the adolescents. So there are
Exactly.
few broad points which I want to mention about how social media actually negatively impacts the adolescents. The first one is illusion of perfection. I call it as an illusion because we cannot see, or we cannot, there are many parts to it where we cannot see exactly what is happening. We see perfection around us everywhere. We see ideal standards, we see meticulously curated profiles, we see flawless appearances, flawless skins, we see high living standards. So whatever we see is the best of each and every person's life. So when we see such things and when we compare ourselves to what we are seeing on our social media feed, so that gives us a negative impact as to how we perceive ourselves, what is the self image we carry about ourselves. So first point is that the perfection what we see is just an illusion and should not be treated as something which is very ideal, and we need to fit into that perfection. So the second one we have is cyberbullying and negative feedback loops. So research says that almost 16% of the adolescents have been facing cyberbullying. So there are hurtful comments, there are this behaviors which are actually hatred. For hatred comments, there are hatred comments which are there for certain content a person puts in. So that actually creates a loop of negative feedbacks, and people might feel that they are not good enough, or they have not been doing good enough in their lives because people are not happy about what they have achieved. Now the third point we have is seeking validation and social approval. So nowadays this generation we see, they count their self-worth with the number of likes they have, with the number of comments they get, what the number of followers they have. So the moment it starts decreasing, the people think that we are not great enough, we are not doing good in our lives, we have to do more, we need to do more, this is not enough, that is not enough. So that this constant feeling actually creates a lot of mental health issues in the adolescents as well. And the next one we have is comparison and fear of missing out. So when we continuously see a lot of good things happening, the best of people's life happening, and when we compare that to ourselves, we feel that we are not being doing that great. We have not achieved something good. The lifestyle people have, the food they eat, the places they travel, we are not able to do that, and hence we are not doing good in our life, and we need to do more. So that creates a lot of negative impact on our self image of what a adolescent thinks about themselves. And the last one we have is the mental health issues. So when we constantly compare ourselves, we fall into depression, we have anxiety issues, we have this continuous eating disorder, sleeping disorder. So there are such things. We are also jealous about many people. We feel irritated continuously. So that and all, I think it has a negative impact on the self image of a adolescent.
Okay, thank you so much, Tanya ma'am. And dear all, as we already discussed and came to know about the negative impacts on self-image caused by social media. So now it's time to know positive impacts of self-image caused by social media too. So this question is for Priyanka ma'am. So ma'am, could you please answer this question?
Sorry, I was not able to hear your question. Can you repeat, ma'am?
Okay, so ma'am, I would like to know from you, like what are the positive impacts on self-image caused by social media?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So, ma'am, despite the several negative impacts as highlighted by Tanya, ma'am,
Exactly.
yes, I agree to all the negative impacts, and it is really hampering the social and psychosocial well-being of the students. But still, there are some positive impacts of social media on the self-image of adolescents as well. So let me begin. First is it helps in self-expression and creativity. The social media platform actually provides a very safe space to the adolescents to share their personal interests, hobbies, achievements, and this allows the individual to showcase their unique identities, creativity, which can foster a self-perception. They start using it as a creative space without any judgment. Yes, they also face many negative comments, but still they can, with the help of social media, they can also help enhance their creative skills. The second is it helps a lot in community building, connecting with others, which is very common these days among the adolescents. They share their similar experiences, passions, and in return, it creates a sense of belonging and support that boosts their self-worth and confidence. The third is very important going on in all over the social media, that is body positivity movements. Actually, social media can also be used to promote diverse body types and also challenge unrealistic beauty standards, which can also help in encouraging self-acceptance among themselves and also create a positive image, which is very much necessary for the growing minds. The fourth is role models and inspirations. In social media, students follow a lot of individuals who promote healthy lifestyles, personal growth, motivational speakers, and positive self-image speakers. So this all people can really inspire individuals for those who are especially striving for their goals. The last point is awareness and advocacy. Social media can also be used to create or raise awareness about important issues like very important social issues or mental health issues, body image issues, identity, like the mental health, like which was very much not discussed earlier. It is nowadays very much discussed among the adolescents, and thus it helps people to connect with other facing similar challenges.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Priyanka ma'am. You mentioned really good points regarding positive impacts on social media also, and it sometimes play a vital role for helping us in different field. Well, I would like to again come back to Tanya ma'am, and Tanya ma'am, I would like to ask you one more question, and it is, in what ways can teachers and parents help children in improving their self-image? So ma'am, could you please answer this?
Yeah, so as I have mentioned, and as everyone has already mentioned, that adolescence is a phase where the children are continuously in the phase of transition. So they find it difficult as to identify who they are, what they want to do, how they want to be. So there comes the role of parents and teachers, where they can play a great role in helping the children find their self-worth. So the first thing what they have to understand is acceptance. So parents and teachers first should accept the children as they are, what they are, how they are. They also must teach as the children to accept themselves, because every child is unique and everybody has their unique abilities, unique talents, unique behaviors, and unique body types, unique emotions. So when every child is different, we need to accept them as they are. So this acceptance from the parents and teachers can play a great impact in changing the self image of a child. And the next thing we have is open communication. So this phase, this transition phase, you have many doubts, children have many doubts. So it's important that we provide a platform, or we provide them opportunity to communicate as to what they are feeling, what they are going through, is there any emotions which they are facing a problem with. So with that, what they can do is, if they communicate directly, the parents and teachers can guide them in a best possible way, and that will help them build a good self image about themselves. And the last and the most important one, which I feel, is the regulating the use of social media. So it's very important that at that phase we refrain ourselves to, or let's say we can limit ourselves to a certain amount of time as to when we should be using the social media and what type of content we are seeing there. So simply wasting our time on social media and comparing ourselves or looking at other people's life, we shouldn't be wasting our time. Instead, we should be going out of our digital zones and communicate with people, so that we can build a good personality for ourselves and create a good self image for the children.
Okay, thank you, Tanya ma'am. So next, I would like to ask Priyanka ma'am to please conclude our session and our topic for today's session, which we have chosen.
Yeah, sure. So as ma'am said, like adolescence is really a period of transition. Like young adolescents, there are a lot of confusion. They require a lot of answers to many questions, and they go for wrong websites, doing listens all over. So I would not suggest that. I would ask them to go for counselors or their teachers or motivators, like who they really trust, and accept the views that are very much statistically approved, rather than going for the trends.
Exactly, right. Very well said, ma'am. Well, dear viewers, let's now wrap up our session because we have very limited time left. So, if I talk about this whole topic, then we came to know that social media plays a significant role in shaping self-image among adolescents, while it offers opportunities for self-expression and connection as well. But on the same hand, we can say excessive social media use can lead to unrealistic comparisons, also low esteem and a distorted self-image. So this is all about our today's topic and today's session, and we would now wrap up this session. And but before, we would like to thank our experts who joined us for today's session. So firstly, I would like to thank Priyanka ma'am. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today for this wonderful session. And again, I would like to thank Tanya Tripathy ma'am for joining us today. So thank you so much, Tanya ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Okay, well, I would also like to thank our whole viewers who joined us for today's session until now. And alright, but before we go, we have an announcement for all our viewers which you can see on your screen, and that is the last date for submitting entries to All India Children's Educational E-Content Competition 2024 and 25 has been extended to 31st January 2025. Teachers, teacher educators, students and independent educational e-content creators are invited to submit their best e-content for the competition. For further details and the application form, please visit the activities section of our official website at www.ciet.ncert.gov.in, or you can also scan the QR code on our screen. Well, after this, let's have a look for tomorrow to find out what's in store for all of you. वेल आप सभी को हम बता दें, कल आप हमारा सबसे पहले योगा वाला सेशन देखेंगे जो 8 से 8:45 रहेगा. टॉपिक होगा योगा फॉर द इम्यूनिटी बूस्टिंग. एंड आफ्टर डेट 12 से 12:30 सब्जेक्ट EVS और टॉपिक रहेगा अ ट्रीट फॉर मॉस्क्यूटोज. एंड 2 से 2:30 आप चैनल नंबर 7 पर देखेंगे विषय संस्कृत, शीर्षक अमृतम संस्कृतम. इसके बाद 2:30 से 3 चैनल नंबर 7 पर आप जुड़ सकते हैं. सब्जेक्ट रहेगा सोशल साइंस एंड टॉपिक रहेगा न्यू पॉलिटिकल फॉर्मेशंस ड्यूरिंग 18th सेंचुरी पार्ट 2. 3 से 3:30 चैनल नंबर 8 पर जुड़ सकते हैं. सब्जेक्ट साइंस और टॉपिक लेकर आएंगे कंबशन एंड फ्लेम. 3:30 से 4 चैनल नंबर 8 पर जुड़ सकते हैं। सब्जेक्ट रहेगा मैथमेटिक्स और टॉपिक रहेगा रेशनल नंबर्स। 4 से 5 फिर आप ऑनलाइन ट्रेनिंग में जुड़ेंगे और टॉपिक कल का रहेगा भाषाओं के शिक्षण और अधिगम के लिए वर्चुअल लैब्स। और आखिरी में सहयोग का प्रोग्राम रहेगा 5 से 5:30। टॉपिक हम कल लेकर आएंगे प्रोमोटिंग ऑप्टिमिस्टिक थिंकिंग अमंग लर्नर्स। ये सभी जानकारियां थी कि आप हमसे कैसे जुड़ सकते हैं, कौन कौन से प्रोग्राम में, और DTH के ज़रिए और साथ ही NCERT ऑफिशियल के ज़रिए भी। आपको आज का सहयोग प्रोग्राम कैसा लगा, प्लीज़ हमें कमेंट बॉक्स के थ्रू ज़रूर बताएं और ऐसे ही हमारे साथ बने रहे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।